Jared Mathis had been to countless repair docks across the galaxy, but none were quite like the one orbiting Tau Valorum 4. His ship, the Ironclad, had taken a beating after a close brush with a rogue asteroid field, and he needed a full systems upgrade. The local traders all pointed him to the same place, an old orbital station run by an alien mechanic known only as Velka. The station was old, its hull patched with mismatched metals from dozens of species, yet the moment Jared stepped inside, the air was thick with the scent of clean coolant and high-quality plasma welds. The place was quiet, save for the occasional hum of repair drones zipping through the cavernous docking bay. A figure emerged from the shadows. Velka was unlike any alien Jared had encountered before. A tall, sinewy being with 4 arms, iridescent green skin, and piercing silver eyes that seemed to scan his very soul. Their voice was a blend of mechanical precision and something almost melodic. "You seek an upgrade, human?" Velka's lips curled into what might have been a smirk. Jared folded his arms. "Yeah, ship's been through hell. Need new shielding, better thrusters, and maybe some." Velka held up a hand. "Your ship is salvageable. But you are broken." Jared blinked. "Excuse me?" Velka tilted their head. "Your physiology is inefficient. Limited durability. Fragile under pressure. You wish to travel the stars, yet you remain bound by biology that was never designed for deep space." Jared chuckled, shifting uncomfortably. "Look, I just need my ship fixed, not a lecture on human weaknesses." Velka's silver eyes glowed slightly. "Then you should not have come here." Before Jared could react, a pulse of energy radiated from the floor. A sudden weightlessness gripped him, his limbs frozen as some kind of invisible field took hold. He struggled, but it was like pushing against an ocean tide. "You misunderstand," Velka continued, stepping closer, their lower arms unfolding to reveal intricate, multi-jointed fingers tipped with glowing instruments. "This is not an attack. This is an opportunity." Jared tried to shout, but his voice came out as a whisper. His vision blurred, and suddenly he wasn't in the repair bay anymore. Instead, he saw flashes, holographic blueprints overlaid on his own body, veins turned into circuitry, muscles restructured with reinforced fiber. A strange energy coursed through him, like his very DNA was unraveling and being rewritten. Memories flickered in his mind. His childhood on Earth, his first time piloting a ship, his countless battles in the depths of space, and then something new. A vision of a future where he wasn't just surviving the void, he was thriving in it. The process was over in an instant, but it felt like an eternity. When the weightlessness vanished, Jared collapsed onto his knees, gasping. His entire body tingled. He felt lighter, stronger, alive in a way he had never been before. He looked down at his hands. They seemed normal, but as he flexed his fingers, he could feel something beneath the surface, like his muscles had been reinforced, his nerves enhanced. He took a breath and processed more oxygen than he should have. His ears picked up the faintest hum of energy in the air. "What did you do to me?" Jared whispered. Velka studied him with quiet satisfaction. "I repaired you." Jared rose shakily to his feet. His balance was perfect. His vision was sharper than ever. He clenched his fist, and for a brief moment, he felt a surge of power ripple through his arm. He wasn't just human anymore. He was something more. Velka gestured toward his ship. "Your vessel has been upgraded as well, though I suspect you will find yourself more formidable than any machine." Jared turned toward the Ironclad, its hull gleaming with newly installed plating. He could feel its energy signature, since the way its systems had been optimized, like it was now an extension of him. He exhaled slowly, testing the limits of his new body. "Guess I should be thanking you." Velka nodded. "You will. In time." Jared didn't know what that meant, but one thing was certain. He had come here to upgrade his ship, but now he was the one who had changed. The stars were calling, and for the first time, he felt ready to meet them head-on. Jared took his first step forward, and it was like walking on air. Every movement felt precise, effortless, his body responding faster than ever before. His mind raced with possibilities. Whatever Velka had done to him, it wasn't just some surface-level enhancement. This was deeper. He turned back to the alien engineer. So what exactly am I now? Velka's silver eyes flickered with something unreadable. Still human, but optimized. Optimized how? Jared flexed his fingers, watching faint traces of energy ripple under his skin. He wasn't glowing or covered in machinery, but he could feel something coursing through his veins, like his body had been fine-tuned on a microscopic level. Your cells are reinforced with adaptive fibers, Velka explained. Your neural pathways now process information with greater efficiency. Your musculature has been strengthened, yet you retain your natural flexibility. You will heal faster, endure longer, and perceive details beyond human limitations. You are improved. Jared exhaled, testing his newfound senses. He could hear the hum of power cores deep within the station, the subtle flickering of a failing light panel overhead. Even his sense of balance felt recalibrated, like his body instinctively adjusted to every shift in gravity. This is a lot to take in, he admitted. Velka simply nodded. Adjustment will take time. Jared walked toward his ship, the ironclad. As he got closer, he could feel it, not just as a machine, but almost as if it were an extension of himself. He placed his hand on the hull, and for a brief moment, a pulse of energy traveled through his fingers. The ship's systems responded, its new upgrades humming to life. Velka observed with a satisfied hum. Your neural signature has been linked to your vessel. You will find it more responsive than before. Jared turned sharply. Wait, are you saying I can control my ship with my mind? Not entirely, but the interface will feel seamless. The ship will anticipate your needs, react faster, and respond more intuitively to your commands. Jared grinned. Now that's an upgrade I can get behind. As he climbed the ramp into the cockpit, everything felt right. The controls, the seat. His fingers instinctively found their way to the flight panel, as if he had been using it for years. He powered up the ship, and the new systems integrated instantly with his commands. He looked back at Velka, still standing in the docking bay. Why did you do this? The alien tilted their head. Because you were in need of repair. Jared narrowed his eyes. That's not the real reason, is it? Velka's expression didn't change. You will understand in time. There are greater things ahead of you, Jared Mathis. You were never meant to remain limited. Jared considered pressing for answers, but something in his gut told him that the truth would reveal itself soon enough. With a deep breath, he gripped the controls and eased the ironclad out of the docking bay. The ship responded instantly, the thrusters firing with perfect precision. As he soared into open space, the stars seemed a little brighter, the void a little less empty. He had come here looking for an upgrade. What he had found was something far greater. The galaxy had just become a much bigger place, and he was more than ready for whatever came next. As the ironclad slipped into open space, Jared couldn't help but push the ship's new capabilities. The thrusters responded to his touch with lightning-fast precision, almost as if the ship anticipated his movements before he even made them. The upgraded shielding shimmered faintly in the void, reinforcing his confidence that this was no longer just a patched-up freighter. It was a true deep space vessel, ready for whatever came next. He brought up the star chart on his holo display. His next job was supposed to be a routine cargo run to the Andorran system, but that felt insignificant now. Something about Velka's words kept playing in his head. There are greater things ahead of you. His fingers hovered over the NAV controls. Where was he supposed to go? What was he meant to do with these new abilities? A proximity alarm chimed. Jared's heart kicked into overdrive, but his new reflexes kept him calm. He flicked his eyes to the scanner. A ship was approaching from the far side of the system. It was small, fast, and running with minimal emissions. Definitely not a standard transport. Pirates? Jared's instincts said yes, but something felt off. Even before the scanner identified them, he knew they were hostile. He wasn't sure how. A cold certainty settled in his gut as he adjusted his heading, preparing for evasive maneuvers. The moment he changed course, the incoming vessel altered its trajectory to intercept. Confirmed. Not a coincidence. Jared activated his comms. Unidentified vessel, you're on a direct intercept course with me. State your intentions. Silence. Then, a voice crackled through his speakers. Low, mechanical, and distorted. Pilot of the ironclad. Power down your ship and prepare to be boarded. Jared scoffed. Yeah, see, that's not happening. His hand moved to the throttle, ready to test his new upgrades in real combat. The enemy ship's weapons powered up. This is not a negotiation. Jared's mind worked faster than ever before. He analyzed their vector, the heat signatures from their engines, the way their weapons came online. Normally, this kind of assessment would take precious seconds. But now? He saw it instantly. Their ship was smaller but heavily armed. Faster in short bursts, but its maneuvering thrusters were subpar. Its shields were tuned for energy resistance, but weak against kinetic rounds. A plan formed in his mind before he even realized it. All right, Jared said, feigning hesitation. You win. He powered down his forward thrusters, just enough to make it look like he was complying. The enemy ship closed in, their boarding clamps deploying. Jared waited. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1. He slammed his thrusters in reverse, spinning the ironclad in a tight arc. At the same time, his upgraded targeting systems locked onto their weakest point, a section of their hull just below the cockpit, where the armor was thinnest. He fired. Twin kinetic rounds streaked through space, slamming into the enemy vessel with pinpoint accuracy. The shields barely flickered before the impact tore through their plating, sending the ship spiraling out of control. Jared wasted no time. He pushed the ironclad into a hard burn, slipping away before their systems could recover. His heart pounded, but his breathing was steady. The fight had lasted mere seconds, but for the first time, he realized something terrifying. He had known what they were going to do before they did it. His mind, his reflexes, they weren't just faster. They were predictive. Was this what Velka meant by being optimized? The enemy ship disappeared from his scanner, limping away in the opposite direction. Whoever they were, they had underestimated him. Jared exhaled slowly. Something told him this wasn't just some random pirate attack. Someone out there had been waiting for him. And now, they knew what he was capable of. Jared sat back in his seat, his hands still gripping the controls. His breath came slow and measured, but his mind was racing. The way he had handled that fight, it wasn't just skill. It was something more. He had anticipated their moves, processed their weaknesses in an instant, reacted before they could even think to counter. That wasn't normal. His comms crackled again, but this time, it wasn't the hostile ship. A new signal had appeared on his sensors, broadcasting on an open channel. Jared Mathis. The voice was calm, smooth, too composed for someone who had just watched him dismantle an enemy ship in seconds. You are not who you were when you entered that station, are you? Jared's fingers twitched toward his weapons. Depends on who's asking. The new ship emerged from the void, dropping its stealth field. It was sleek, angular, and painted in a matte black that absorbed the distant starlight. No markings. No ID. Just a presence that sent a chill down Jared's spine. We have been watching you, the voice continued, and we are very, very interested in what you have become. Jared clenched his jaw. Yeah? Well, I'm not interested in whatever creepy spy game you're playing. So you can just... You don't understand, the voice interrupted. This isn't a request. A pulse of energy rippled through space, and suddenly, every system on the ironclad went dark. The engines sputtered. The lights flickered out. The artificial gravity stuttered, sending Jared weightless for a moment before emergency backups kicked in. He cursed under his breath. EMP. A strong one. You're making a mistake, Jared growled, gripping the controls even though they were unresponsive. No, the voice countered. You made the mistake when you let Velka change you. Now, you belong to something greater. And we can't have you running around uncontrolled. Jared's pulse hammered in his ears. He had no idea who these people were, but they weren't some random mercenary group. They knew about Velka, about him, and they were scared. Good. Because he wasn't about to let himself be taken. The ironclad may have been dead in the water, but Jared wasn't. His instincts, his new instincts, told him there was another way out of this. He closed his eyes, focusing. His body felt different now. It was more than just faster reflexes and enhanced perception. There was something else, something just beneath the surface, waiting to be used. He reached for it. And suddenly, he felt the ship. Not just the controls. Not just the cold metal around him. He felt the circuits, the energy flows, the pulse of the reactor trying to restart itself. It was like the ironclad was an extension of his own body. Jared didn't know how he knew what to do. He just did. He willed the ship to wake up. A spark. A pulse. The main reactor hummed back to life, its systems flickering in defiance against the energy field locking them down. His fingers danced over the console, but he barely needed to touch it. The ship responded to his thoughts as much as his actions. The enemy ship hesitated. Impossible. Jared didn't let them finish. He forced power into his thrusters, overloading them just enough to break free of the EMP field's grasp. The ironclad lurched forward, engines roaring back to life as he swung the ship into an unpredictable, spiraling arc. The enemy vessel reacted too slow. His ship was already gone, burning toward open space at speeds it should not have been capable of. His pursuers tried to follow, but Jared felt them before his scanners even registered their pursuit. He adjusted his course in real time, juking through asteroid debris, dodging their tracking beams with impossible precision. He wasn't just flying the ironclad. He was the ironclad, and no one was going to catch him. With one final burst of speed, he reached the edge of the system and punched the hyperdrive. Stars stretched into infinity, and the enemy ship vanished behind him. Jared slumped back in his seat, exhaling hard. His body still tingled, his mind buzzing with the sheer impossibility of what had just happened. He had just outmaneuvered a stealth-class warship with nothing but instinct and sheer will. That wasn't normal. Velka had really done something to him. And whoever those people were, they knew exactly what it was. Jared stared out into the swirling tunnel of hyperspace, his fingers flexing absently. He needed answers. And something told him this was only the beginning. Jared didn't know where he was headed. He just let instinct guide him. His body still tingled with the strange energy coursing through his veins, and his mind was on fire with possibilities. He wasn't just faster, stronger, or more aware. He was connected. To his ship. To the void. To something far bigger than himself. And that terrified him. The enemy ship, whoever they were, had known about Velka's modifications. That meant others did too. If they were willing to disable his ship and try to take him in, they weren't just curious. They were afraid of what he had become. But why? As the ironclad tore through hyperspace, a thought hit him. If Velka had turned him into whatever he was now, maybe they had done it before. Maybe others had received repairs, just like he had. He needed to find them. His hands hovered over the NAV console. Where would Velka send others like him? Where would he go if he were trying to stay ahead of whoever those black ship operators were? His fingers moved before he even made the conscious decision. A new set of coordinates appeared on the holo display. His breath hitched. This isn't me inputting them. The ship is doing it. It was guiding him. Jared swallowed hard and engaged the drive. The stars shifted, the streaks of hyperspace twisting into something darker. And then, real space snapped into focus, and before him lay something he had never seen before. A massive structure hovered in the void, orbiting a dead, lightless star. It wasn't a station, not exactly. It was organic, like metal and living matter, had fused into something both ancient and impossibly advanced. Giant rings floated in perfect synchronization, pulsing with strange energy. And he wasn't alone. Other ships, dozens of them, all sleek and powerful, were stationed around the structure. Some looked human, others completely alien, yet all bore the same distinct presence. They were like him. A comm signal flickered to life. Jared Mathis, a deep voice rumbled through his cockpit, smoother than Velka's, yet carrying the same weight of authority. You have taken your first step. Jared tightened his grip on the controls. And what step is that, exactly? A pause. Then, evolution. The comm channel cut, and suddenly, his ship was being guided forward, drawn toward the massive structure like it belonged there. Jared exhaled, his pulse steady, his nerves calm. Whatever this was, whatever he was, he would find the truth here. He had come to upgrade his ship. But now? Now, he was becoming something far more than human. And for the first time in his life, he wasn't afraid. He was ready.